Alright, good evening everyone. Um, Trying to get back to some streaming. So we have my opponent, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but wateenellende, better known as opperwezen. Um, we play a lot of matches, but yeah, we're going to stream this one, so I'm just going to try to tell the audience what I'm thinking as we go through. We're going to start with e4. Um, We've got candidates matches beginning this week. I believe we've got Blitz Bullet versus Legion Destroyer in about 4 hours. Unfortunately, that's going to be 3 a.m. for me, so I won't be catching that one live. But that's the first match of this season. So good luck to both players. I played Legion Destroyer yesterday, and he was in fighting fit form. And Blitz Bullet has always been a very strong contender. So really exciting match coming up soon. I know we've got another couple matches scheduled. Um, we should have a couple more happening this weekend at the least. So, all right, let's talk a bit about this game. We've been through this line quite a bit. I played this against Oppa yesterday. E5, big threat here. Yeah, I'd like to make Queen E4 work, but it's a matter of F5 and what happens after that. The bishop takes D8, takes the queen, takes rook or knight takes. There's bishop takes H7 and then knight at G5. So I played a slower move knight at H5 yesterday, and E5 was just too quick with the E file opening up. So I've got to go for Queen E4 immediately. If you wait for E5 and then play Queen E4, you're already too late because ED stops everything. So let's see where this goes. Now he doesn't have to take H7 afterwards. I haven't really calculated too much after bishop takes H7. I just figure I should get 2 pawns at least. Now this is interesting. Queen at F5. So he's just trying to stop the attack. We need to give up a queen for it. I didn't see this move. So let's have a look at this. He gets the check. So it just prevents an absolute run on the black king. But what, if I take it, then what? Like pawn at e7 is no good because just knight takes, unless there's some kind of queen at f8 trick with x takes. Let's consider. So it takes, pawn at e7, knight takes d8. I would have a knight and 2 queens in hand. If you play queen at f8, rook takes. The problem is there's this knight here still defending e7. I don't think it's quite enough for mate. It's very close. But he's holding lots of bishops, so I think there's sufficient defense. But okay, I think I have to take this anyway. Now, if I play pawn at e3, he might be able to play knight takes e3, which is a bit annoying. But maybe that can be captured. I can block with pawn at e5. Yeah, so black's getting a lot of material for the queen. It feels maybe it's just 2 minor pieces, and I get to, so I have a queen and a pawn for 2 minor pieces. But black's pieces are well placed, so I don't have to castle immediately, but I feel that it's helpful to the position. I want to kick this guy with c4 at some stage, but if I also let black get too much momentum, he's just going to cover any entry point. Now maybe I do need to be quite direct, and it's often I would say it's a common theme that when you have the queens in hand, if you allow your opponent with the minor pieces too much time, then the minor pieces are stronger, in my opinion, than the queen. So I'm trying to make something, very direct on f6, very quick. If he plays bishop at d2, I just have to sidestep king f1. I don't think I have time to castle because bishop at g4 is just better for black. At least here, bishop at g4, maybe I can sack this knight and take this one and still have some kind of hope of making some entry point on f6. The Fuchsia, welcome. Okay, but I've only got 30 seconds here, so I need to be quick. Alright, we've here. Maybe I do need to castle just a moment, just so that this pawn isn't pinned anymore. And then we've got to be very direct. Alright, I'm gonna rush straight in. He's got a knight in hand. I should probably play h3 at some stage. So I'm expecting, the bishop could come here. Maybe he's calculating if he can take this and mate me. But let's say takes, knight at e2, king here, takes, knight at h4 is nearly mating, except I can run up. So I'm going to play h3 myself, and that's to stop knight at h3 from ever happening. I do need like another bishop to place on g7, so we do need to trade for our pieces. But I have to be careful of getting mated. Queen at g2 could be a good resource to get check and also get safety. Alright, I'm gonna, well, it's bishop at g7 or it's queen at g2. It doesn't quite have enough to mate me yet, but I have to play queen at g2 first, because if I put a bishop on g7 and he takes it and I recapture, he's got a pawn and a bishop in hand, then it'll be knight at e2, king h1, pawn at g2 takes, knight at h4, king h1, bishop at g2 mate. So I do need to put the queen here first to limit that, and then we'll try to attack ourselves. His clock's running very low. I don't quite have enough to mate here. I might need that knight, but at least I'm safe back here. Yeah, we'll have to give that knight up. I think I've messed it up here. Time. Nah, I ran out of time. But he was defending well. Knight at e2 is already winning. I felt I messed it up in the time scramble there. Okay. Welcome Samaman12 and Ali WWW. Okay, the idea of early bishop g4 is basically to make some annoyance on this diagonal with the queen. So now with this place, sometimes queen h4 becomes a move, so white's got to be mindful of that. So say for example here, if queen h4, I'm just going to play it without much thought, because if bishop g3 takes, he can't recapture with the pawn. If knight g3, you take the bishop. G3 is just making weakness. So I've not really thought too much further here. I just see it's an opportunity to make one weakness into more weakness. Okay, but he can capture this bishop at the end of it. I still feel that this is annoying for white. If takes, he's got bishop at g5, which would trap the queen. So we do need to give the move some respect. Out of principle, though, this e3 hole is just a square, because it makes it harder for white to castle. So we do have to cover this. We can't take immediately because of takes here, unless queen e3 is fruitful. I doubt that it is. You could take here, take queen h4, knight g3, pawn at f4, but you just kind of recycle the piece. The bishop lands here. Takes. Queen takes d4 is never an option because bishop b5 check. So there's a weakness here, and I can't yet play bishop g6 because the bishop is g5. I'm leaning towards something like h6 here. Or it could be something like bishop at f6 and knight c6. So I do want to keep a bishop in hand though. So we'll go with h6. That was a lot of time used there. So one plan of development now that we've stopped the queen trap is knight f6 to defend h5, and then at least you're threatening f4. So he's now, that's a wise move, he's attacking c7 and g7, so, and defending f4. So this move is to at least defend one of the pawns from the double attack that he's made, and then with the check you get him to make a move, whether it be some kind of block here. And then you have time to play something like f6 or knight f6. But I think this one's going to be f6. Problem with f6 is after castles takes, then my bishop is hanging because bishop at g6 is forking my king and queen. So maybe if he castles, I play bishop f7. And then I just have a weakness here. So you know what? I'm actually just going to play knight f6. We'll develop the piece. That's just a cold blunder though, because now he's got knight at g7. I just lost a piece. That's pretty sad. So it's kind of like which one is worse to lose. That they're equally just horrible. This is just better for white now. And you know, opperwezen won't miss this sort of stuff. He always catches it. So I have to make some attempt to win that material back. Bishop at g7 is completely fine here. He can. I mean, you can't save both this knight and this pawn, so I'm just trying to get some material back. But you can just say bishop at g7 takes, and white's still a rook up. Okay, so he's decided to. This is another nice way of doing it, because now queen f8 and pawn at g7 is winning very easily. So we'll need to take this, I think. And this is just a matter of time, honestly. So knight c6, you try to at least hold on to the rook, but this is entirely white's game to win from here. Okay. Yeah, that's enough to mate. He's got queen at f6 and bishop at e6 and pawn at d7. So that was a big waste of time for me in the opening. Oh, he's being fancy. This will be mating as well, because he'll force my king to the back, and then he's got queen takes here, and that's enough to win with rook at c8. A nice game there. Picked up bishop takes f6. Okay, so switching it up with the French. Alright, we've played this one a few times. So bishop g5, I mean, black likes to get a knight to f5, so this is to try to make it more difficult. And ultimately this bishop is preventing knight f5 or knight g6. Just important to put the knight here first, so d4 is covered. We can back off from here. I think black's knight is better placed on c6 than b4, so the fact that we went to d3 and back is okay. Okay, so knight f5 coming in here. We could take e7, but I feel like I can just castle here as well. So there is an idea to sack on c2 and play pawn at e4, but with knight c3 here, there's a few different ideas. Sometimes there's a knight at h5. Sorry, I'll just restart that. Knight here takes pawn e4. Sometimes there's a knight at h5 takes, queen takes. And I think that idea is better if the queen is on d7, like if these bishop and queen are reversed. In this case though, if he took and played pawn e4, I just had knight takes e4 and I was just a pawn up, so he's kind of gone there and back. White's comfortable with development, but doesn't really have something critical yet. So we've got to work out how to mobilize the pieces. Perhaps it's something like queen d3. I just want to connect the rooks, but possibly put another defender on d4. And this is one of those funny positions. Crazyhouse is known as a very active game. This is quite blocked, it's quite strategic, and neither side can really do anything quickly. If anything, I'd say opperwezen is a lot more dangerous when there's activity on the board and potential for creativity, because he's so creative. And so I feel like if it's a blocked position, it's going to stifle creativity to some extent. So here he's kind of attacking both his pawns. And that's obviously what he's playing for. So if I play queen d2, like it's probably going to sack, take, knight takes d4. I'm okay with that. And importantly, I can put the queen here now because there's no bishop in hand that he can put on g5. I don't mind bringing this back to defend d4. Can't let this queen capture. Both sides safe, but white's got a bit more space here. You know, if there's bishop e7, knight at h5 is very likely. I'm gonna patiently try to build a break without allowing some kind of tactical combination that he may have to open up the position in his favor. Okay, so maneuvering around to e7, f5 looks like the idea. So here, yeah, I think I want to mobilize on the queen side. I'm just seeing something here on the dark squares. So even if knight f5, which nicely covers d6 twice, I might have an idea to play queen c3 and just hit c7. The rook can't cover c7 because of knight here. The pawn can't ever move forward. Well, maybe it can because it's got knight at c7. So he could take the knight, but then there'll be a check to block. So I've got to make something happen while I've got a piece in his hand and the development's still low. Now he's low on the clock here, so he's feeling some pressure. Already here, I think I want to force a trade of these knights because I want to play knight at h5 with tempo. Do it now. g7's not defended. And then here, I'm a pawn up, and I don't really have to move this yet. What's on offer here? We've got alright. I just feel this bishop on h4 should be relatively harmless to my position. Looking for a critical break, but I also don't want to burn all my time. I'm going to hold on taking this just for a moment. See if there's an opportune moment. So another pawn would be handy for e7. Knight at g7 is quite strong too. We'll capture this because rook at e7 looks right. I mean white should be safe here. So this is now a threat. There's knight at f6. What do I do? Uh-oh, have I left something open? Takes. This looks like a lot of pieces. I can leave this one. Yeah, so that's queen takes e7 is a big threat as well. So that was I was happy with finding knight b5 and queen c3 as an idea to make some quick progress while black just had weaknesses on the dark squares for just a moment it was. Okay. So I'm just looking to do some solid development here. I expect opperwezen will try some kind of h4 push at some stage. So bishop g6 kind of helps that. I'm gonna either leave this bishop here or put it on g4. Alright, we'll castle into the storm. I expect opperwezen will try to attack creatively rather than quietly castle. I got it wrong. He's going for the quiet option here. Okay, so I'll gain some space with c5. And look, this bishop is annoying in future because it's always pointing at your king, but we've got a lot of resource pointing at dark squares, so we're okay for now. On a good day, I'd like to play e5, but at the moment I'd have to take this, play e5, and that opens up the f5 square. So not in an immediate rush to play e5. Sometimes d4 can be on the cards, but I just feel at the moment if I make trades, it's kind of helping white for him to get pieces in the pocket, and I'm not gaining anything in the center immediately. So I prefer to just build slowly here. You know, trading pawns doesn't help because the moment white gets a pawn, there's a pawn at g5. So yeah, if I'm provoked with h3, I can take this, but at least then I got white to make a move. Okay, so he's playing slow as well. Could be something like bishop d6, and if I actually think maybe it's rook e8. We'll put the bishop on f8 to cover g7, and then this rook will start looking at e5. So he's making his move now because f7 is not defended. That's a decent move. I'm just going to recover it. c2 is for a moment under threat. So I'm still looking at bishop f8 and e5. But I don't even need bishop f8. We can play e5 straight away. The real Gnaeus in the house. Welcome. He says, Oppa, you copycat. So, yeah, I can testify to that. The real Gnaeus has used this system, well, let's be fair, possibly a couple decades ago. So he can make fair claim to that. Yeah, e5 takes. I think e5 is reasonable. Just playing my miserable opening. Very modest from the real Gnaeus. The real Gnaeus is one of my original inspirations. So very nice to have you here. I just feel like playing knight g4 here. This f2 square is open. So if queen takes g4, bishop takes g5. And at least I'm trading a piece there. So knight at f2 is a mate threat that has to be addressed. Now I'm got a piece threatened here as well. So we'll see if I pay for it dearly. I think Oppa feels he's going to win some material here. So I have these two problems. I didn't spend much time with knight g4. I just felt I was able to liquidate some pressure. I'm trying to get this bishop out of dodge from here, but I'm attacking this one. If I'm lucky, I get a trade here and I hit the queen. If he takes me here, I can maybe take this bishop. At least that monster is gone and I've got defense. So we have an issue with I'm losing all my back rank pieces because he's got queen takes c8 and knight at e7. But I'm safe as well. Bishop takes f7 is probably a real threat here with knight at h6 coming. And there's pawn at d7 too. So this is I'm in a place of problems here. This trick playing for knight at f2 didn't really pay off for me. And queen takes c8 is coming anyway. So I need something very effective and aggressive here, but I don't think I have it. Okay, I have to, I guess, make some attempt to stop queen takes c8, but um, this is what happens when you're tactically lazy against opperwezen and you don't check things and you just throw them forward. Alright, he's probably got some kind of mate now with pawn at f7. Even bishop takes g6. I mean, white's in no immediate rush. There's no counterattack coming from black, so I was more concerned about bishop takes g6, but not to say I'm not concerned about my position at the moment, but at least here I feel I can grovel for a little while. Ooh, what have I missed? He's got knight e7, knight g6. This looks like mate. Alright, we'll make him play it out. If I come back here, knight g6 and rook at h8 is mate, so I have to come back here, and this is probably going to be mate as well. Yeah, nice. So he seals off the king, and rook at g8. Very nice. Okay, Oppo leads 3-1. Okay, going for French again. Okay, we've repeated the line from 2 games ago so far. I don't have much need to comment so far. Okay, so sometimes black has this cool idea of a6, queen a7, castling queenside. Knight f5's coming. I'm not too concerned. We'll play knight c3. Last time it was queen c8, but maybe he feels this is an improvement because he can try to castle queenside on a good day after removing this bishop. If takes, we're still going here. So okay, a6 played. That also stops knight b5. Now, I wonder if I can play something like a3, b4. So he may elect to take this twice. No, he's going to go for this. I'm going to lose this pawn, so I may as well play something active here. So he can either take this one or this one, but I feel if he takes this one, then I get here and pawn at c6 is available. So you should probably take d4. And even though black will be a pawn up, maybe I have some kind of residual activity on the dark squares. And yes, the blitz bullet is playing tonight, but for me it's 3 a.m. So I'm sitting that one out. I have to take this so that this is not under attack. Now I'm going to take this one. Now he may just try to really attack me quickly here, but I've got cover on f2, which is usually a great defense against knight at h3 attacks. You can always have king h1. He does have to be careful of queen at d8 here, so if he allows too much, like takes and pawn at b7 is really dangerous for black, I feel. Okay, so knight at h3 is a real threat here. Even if king h1, there's no smothered mate, but fg is going to be a move. So we have to be very accurate here. So, knight at h3, king h1 takes, knight f4 looks winning for black. So I can't take b7 just yet. I have to address this issue. If I take with the bishop, maybe I can take it with the pawn. Looks crazy, but knight at h3, king here. He doesn't have a pawn for g2. If he takes this one, I take this one, and then pawn g2, king takes. Knight f4 is not possible because my knight's defending. So I'm gonna take this one. Because knight at h3, he can't take f3 ever, because I'd recapture with the bishop. I'm defending g2. So yeah, you could say he can take c2 here, but then I get pawn at g2 and I get to defend. So this is quite an important point, that after capture, this knight on e2 defends f4. So he's got to get his move order here. He's put that one in. I have to defend g2. I can't cover e2 at the same time. So I've got to let go of a piece on e2. But I'm hoping to achieve safety with king h1. I basically have one player here attacking d8 and one player here making an attack here. So even if I lose a piece, just that this pawn and bishop is still enough to cause black a headache. If black takes here, pawn at b7. Okay, so he's taken it. We'll play pawn at b7. I have to play the move that I mentioned. I've got nothing else here, I believe. And then, you know, if there's rook d8, there's like queen at a8, possibly, you know, threatening queen takes d8, obviously, but also potential of b8 queen. He's running dangerously low on time. But there's no immediate checks here that are going to get me. So let's see if we've got... If we take the rook, pawn at h3, he doesn't have enough pawns. I'm just going to take this. This queen takes b8 a threat. I believe I can just take that. If he had another pawn, I'd be getting mated, but queen at g2 takes, knight at f4, king h1. He's got no pawn in hand, so that's the pawn he needs, and he's trying to run his king away. So can I seal him off with something like knight at f6, knight g7? I just feel I don't want to let him castle, but maybe I can. Like if I just play pawn at g2, I'm also safe for the game, so he can castle out of it, but knight at f6 is quite convincing. I just defend. I just have to make sure I don't get mated with a sack here. Yeah, you resigned. That's just a nice game. A bit of critical defense with calculating if, you know, my opponent was one pawn short multiple times. So that's always a good sharp game when you're counting the pawns that closely. Again, as in the chat as well, I believe that's GSVC. Is this CWC? Of course it's not. He said if bishop takes d8 instead of queen a8, I thought queen at h3 maybe, but queen a8 is right. So Opper's basically saying he thought I had a different move, but maybe he underestimated queen a8. Misunderestimated is a term from I think George Bush, which is called a Bushism. It's good for a laugh, but it probably doesn't make sense. The word. Uh, okay, let's just try Queen H4 again, and I'm not gonna overthink it this time. I will just commit to F6 straight away. Stopping bishop at G5, but also bishop at E5, and then I have a plan to retreat the bishop to F7, which then makes the threat of queen takes F4 real. I just believe with F3 I have to play for something. Okay, so of course he's found that I've created a weakness for myself here. So I'm thinking of playing something like knight c6 or knight d7. How much does the knight hurt me? Not too bad. Um, okay, we'll play for. Well, no. Fine, we'll go to d7. I was knight c6, bishop takes e6. I looked at a lot, but actually just bishop takes b7 is not good for black after that. So here, if he takes b7, at least I can play rook b8. Knight at c5, I'm expecting here. We'll just drop. Okay, he's developing here. I'm gonna play this move I talked about. He might come in with f5 here, but I get queen takes d4. Takes, knight f5. Like, looks really ugly. Alternatively, I can also play bishop at b4, get rid of the knight one move earlier. Okay, so he's got knight takes d5 here. So I think I have to pin this. Because it's not bad if I remove this knight. It just takes the pressure off a bit. Is something hanging? What if I just take this? I can take f4. I can't allow knight takes d5, of course. Ah, I allowed this one. Okay, but then I get bishop d4. So does this come here? Then he gets knight e6 check. Completely missed knight f5 because this knight was pinned. I just completely forgot about it. I think I'm gonna come here. If I come here, he plays knight takes e6. And then at least when I play bishop takes e6 here, queen takes e6 is not check. So, because if he just takes the queen, I'm actually okay. Bishop takes d4, I recover 2 pieces for a queen. Black is okay. Also, this is now threatening the knight. If I put the king on e8, he can just recapture the bishop possibly. So yeah, white's got some choices here. I think maybe knight takes e6 takes the queen, takes here. And then yeah, it's black gets more of a game than he deserves for missing knight f5. Let's just say that. Ooh, queen takes e6. Didn't see that coming. Alright. He's gonna counter sack a queen. So knight d7 is a mate threat. I can't just like take f4. I think I have to take this. He gets knight check. It's a nice move. So maybe now takes, but I have queen at e3. This just helps me. Because pawn at g6 or bishop at g6 is coming, I do need a piece that defends f7 to stop myself from getting mated. So I get to kind of recapture that piece, but we'll see how long this lasts. I don't feel comfortable about this. If he takes the knight, I have to take with the king, because knight at g6 check is forking the king and queen. If you take with the rook, so I have to defend by taking here. If pawn f7, I can probably play knight h6. So you can take the bishop now, but materials, I'm down a pawn, and yeah, white is definitely better. Ouch, yuck. That's pretty much the game right there. I should have kept the bishop to defend with. Because now if I give up the knight on d6, he gets knight at g6. I don't have a good defense to this move. I'm going to run out of time. Nice play there. I'm trying to adjust again to streaming and not getting in time travel. It's finding it's a lot easier when I'm not explaining my moves to keep up on the clock. So let's try to play faster so we can also tell people what we're thinking. Okay, this line we've played a few times. I'm gonna call it my new idea. Very just primitive, straight up grab f7, but I think it leads to fairly equal positions, dynamically equal. It's definitely not symmetrical, not equal in that way, but equal in the sense that both sides have equal chances. But then possibly a bit easier for white to play, because white's plans are quite limited and reasonably effective at making development difficulties for black. So this has been played before. Somewhat crazy JannLee queen sacrifice. Looking to get some material back here, and if knight d4, we'll just castle out of that. We don't have to castle. You can take f6, but I like to castle here. I wonder if bishop e3 is a move. I'm just gonna castle like I usually do. I've sometimes put this bishop on c4 and not b3, and when you put it on c4, then knight takes c2 is definitely a threat. So the bishop is placed here, so it's defending here. Okay, this knight is free to move, but we've now got a knight in hand. And so if you assess the pieces, basically I think white's got a rook and a pawn and black got a queen and a bishop. So it's definitely in favor of black in terms of straight material count. But yeah, we got a knight back there. So no, no, black can be playing for like things like pawn at g4, pawn at h3. I'm not going to make the trades myself. Just the knight at g4 is just kind of hitting e5. It's hitting f6. There could be some kind of bishop at h5 here at some stage. Does that do anything? Alright, we're into new territory here. Pawn at f3 is probably desired. I just feel that he can block it and I'm bluffing there. Like, there's no actual real threat. So maybe I have to settle for something like bishop at e4, but then am I losing too much material with pawn at e2? I'm gonna be back. I've just got a crying child in the background. I'll be back, guys. Sorry. Sorry, guys. That's been a typical disruption for the last 3 years of my life, which has resulted in my absence for a while. Um, um, Thanks, Oppa, always a gentleman, adding some time back. Alright, let's give this a go maybe. Knight takes. I'm thinking here, look, he'd love to play pawn at f3, that's the move. I'm also trying to make something with knight takes f6 work, queen takes f6, but another knight on h3 is also dangerous for me. So I'm actually trying to get him to commit to pawn at g6 first, because if I play this and then queen takes f6, bishop takes h5, bishop h5, you can probably just play something like king f8. Whereas if he's put the pawn here, I've got some kind of sneaky idea if takes, then pawn takes, at least I've got knight at h8 doing something. And I might get something on g6, knight at h3 check. I may be getting mated here, but perhaps if I'm taking this one first. Knight h8, he's got knight here, takes, bishop still covering the critical squares. I feel like I'm going to get mated. I can put a bishop on d8 first, d5, sorry, just to give myself defense. So if he blocks with the pawn, then we'll go for knight at h8. But I just feel my pieces are dwindling. I don't know if I've got enough here. Um, and threatening the queen with check before considering taking here. If the queen moves from his post, then pawn at f7, and then f8 is queen. So we're just trying to make complications with very few pieces. Trying to be resourceful, but it could get me mated as well. So if knight check here, I've also got defense. Alright, well now pawn f7, knight this. Okay, so he's saying I can have that, and I guess he's banking on me not having enough. So takes here. So there's now knight at f3 is my problem, because I'm not defending myself anymore. So I guess we should try check here. Or maybe, yeah, knight g5 was the idea. But I can't really make it work now, can I? I think he can just take h5 and I've run out of pieces. Yeah. Knight at f3 is coming. I gotta try for like knight at... I must be leaving mate on somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Knight at g3 is on. Yeah, very nice. I tried to bluff with very few pieces, and he was very tactically accurate. Okay, f4. This is a double pawn sack from black, basically saying I'm going to try to develop as fast as I can. Opper's in really good form today. This is good Crazyhouse. I'm taking some risks, and I'm paying for it. But that's the way it should be when your opponent's playing really good level like this. Okay. So if ever there's pawn at e5, we're going to take it and trade queens, and black's going to be a piece down, but that's how it goes in this opening, because we're just seeking big development. So in fact, yeah, I mean, black's only down a piece for a pawn here. Have I missed something? I don't feel I can play rook e8, because there'll be some kind of knight e7 trick. Or maybe there isn't, but this just feels risk-free to put the queen on. So let's say this is traded. You know, my eyes are looking at things like pawn at d3, being very direct with the file. You know, if takes knight at c2. Even happy to get the bishop in the game somehow. Okay, he didn't trade. So I feel like I should be getting more tempo on that queen. I'm just asking white where you're going to put the queen, and hoping that I'll get another chance to hit that queen, and there'll be something eventuate. Okay, he's going to sack the queen there. Alright. Okay, that's very accurate. I probably have to admit I have to block back again. Because the trouble here is if I put block with the knight, he's going to take here, and he's got knight e7 check. So we're better off just giving the queen for the rook, or we'll end up losing more than that for it. But he just sacked the queen for rook anyway, so this is a fair trade. Ooh, okay. If takes. No, he's gonna take d5. They really have nothing but knight f3 check, knight at g2. King here. Pawn e3, takes, knight takes, king d1, knight f2 mate. I think I can take this. This rook takes d5 looks like I mean he can save himself and take e8 and then play bishop takes h6, but I don't think that's the plan of playing knight at h6. I think it was to play rook takes d5. but maybe he's overlooked knight at f3, knight at g2. That looks like mate in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or so. Oh, he's letting me have it. So the idea is that, yeah, he can't take here because queen e2 mates. So this is like pre-move mate for me because I spoke about it just before. I could have taken the rook with check, but I have no bishop for e1. Like that's not bad. I take the rook with check, play pawn at g7 to stop knight at f6. You know, black's still doing okay. So maybe he stopped the mate here. Maybe I'm too hasty. You could live to regret it. Okay, maybe it's not mate, so I've got to win this again, because now knight at f6 is a real threat. So a bit too relaxed maybe, unless there's another continuation here. I mean, we can bring this queen back to e6. That's also quite reasonable. Just stop f6 and threaten d5. That's okay. I thought I was going to have to lose the queen here, but material count. There's a pawn short for me, but I've got a queen. Okay, what's this? I think just stop knight at f6 here. So that was nice. He's stopping the check that would come from queen takes d5 to renew the validity of knight at f6 as a threat. Okay, but now if I take this, I get rook at e1. So I feel I've got to take this way. And rook at e1. Is that enough? King here. Knight c4. He's running, isn't he? So knight at f6 is a new threat. I think I have to play it. Gotta trust instinct. And it's been very resourceful here to still make threats viable. Knight at e7 is also a threat. So it's very dangerous here. I'm kind of kicking myself. I didn't play queen takes d5 check, and I went for this fancy pawn at e3 thing before. He's getting away from me. Alright, I gotta move. I've got to put something on. Okay. I don't think I've got enough here. This is just losing. I'm pretty disappointed actually that this big position, and now we're groveling in defense. Ah, that finishes it. I didn't see bishop h6. Oppa gets out. That's nice. The move order there. If the knight takes e3 and he won the game, and if he played f takes e3, he was getting mated in a few moves. Yeah. Very good. Very good. Okay. We'll play through this same line, but I feel like I'm losing some playing strength with doing commentary because I haven't done it for a while. But I have to continue doing so. That's the whole point of doing the streaming. That's the priority here. Uh, I don't mind losing these games in the fashion that I'm losing them because they're such brilliant games. Like, I'm not cold blundering them badly. Oppa's having to fight very hard to win them. Okay, so we played through this before, and again it's the same thing. We've got the bishop on h4, the pawn on b7, and Oppa's trying to find checkmate on me quicker. So last time I took here, and that was this sharp calculation stuff where black is always a pawn short. So we played knight at f4 and we played pawn at g2 last time. And key idea if you've just joined was knight takes e2, knight takes e2. This e2 is defending f4, which is critical for the defense against this typical attack with knight at h3. So last time we went b takes a6, pawn b7, and queen at a8. Turned out to be very difficult for black to defend. So I think he'll deviate at this point. I'm okay with losing the piece here because white just gains so much safety and has just enough initiative on the other side of the board. Okay, Legions in the house. Good luck today in looks like 2 hours and 45 minutes, Legion. Your match against Blitz Bullets. I won't be around to watch it or stream it, sorry, because it's 3 a.m. for me and I do have work tomorrow. But expect that'll be an awesome match. So good luck, fight hard. Okay, so this is a mate threat here. Knight at f4, and so he's. If I play pawn at g3, he actually makes me consume that critical pawn. So maybe rook g1 is the move here. This is interesting. I can't take this still because queen takes g2, king takes. You would think maybe knight at f4 you can get away with king takes g1, but I think if takes bishop at h3 will be mating. Because takes knight at e2, king h1, pawn at g2. So I do have to recapture this. White's still very solid here. You could try bishop at h3 if takes, check, king takes, rook at e1, knight at f1, knight at e2, king to g2 or h1, and rook at g1 is mate. But if he plays bishop at h3, I don't have to take it either. I could play something like knight at f4, which is a critical thing because it's easy to go, oh, bishop at h3 would take it. So he's trying to come from behind me now. If takes, knight at f4, king g1. I don't think he's got enough to mate me, but I also don't have to find out. So knight at f4, takes. If queen takes, I can't play knight takes because rook at g1, takes, knight at h3. Okay, let's take a serious look at rook takes f1. If we take here, knight at f4, king g1. So knight e2, knight h3 aren't real threats. Rook at h1 takes. But pawn at g2 is strong too. So rook takes, knight at f4, king here, pawn at g2. No, I don't really have enough to mate, do I? So let's go back to knight at f4, bishop takes, rook takes, queen takes, maybe king takes g2 is the way to defend this. Alright. Or maybe it's even knight takes g2. Because then I'm forcing him to play pawn at h3, play knight at f4 again, takes with the knight, there's just no way in. Bishop takes. If knight takes, though, then maybe he has some kind of rook at f1 that's really nasty. Because if you take, queen takes, knight at f4, king up, knight e2 is made. So I think I have to be aggressive in the end with rook takes g2. And this will seem like I'm over-calculating lines, but at this level, I really feel I have to calculate such lines to be able to defend against the best. I can't take this back with the knight. I feel I have to take with the king just to avoid the smother mates, because the knight on g2, it's a principle. It's not your friend. Now, am I better off going to h3 or h1 here? If I go to h3, he takes here, and he's threatening here. And I still don't have a mate threat. So I think I gotta go back. I could always put a queen. Now he's threatening to win this important piece, so have I got him? Right, I'll try to sneak in this move. Ooh, very nice. Nah, that's a killer move. Like, yeah, I just got outplayed in a position I should have defended there. Like, I thought, it said thanks, but did our rook takes f1 work? What? Rook takes f1. I think, yeah, this will be interesting. You'd actually see if you put the analysis board. I think white should be better in this from here, but I could be wrong. So let's see what to think. No, it's actually like -10. Like I'm so far off on my assessment here. He was looking at rook takes f1. Rook takes f1, and then I think queen takes g2 was stronger. So there you have it. Black is objectively better, and I'm astonished. That's the fun of Crazyhouse, because we can always have players at the top thinking they're in with a chance the whole game, and it's actually the assessment is the other way. Um, but yeah, I don't know. That's really interesting, because I feel like both of us are feeling there's equal chances to test attack and defense in there. I think you've got to be very accurate on either side to come up with a win. So Op is absolutely killing me tonight, like 7-2. I haven't lost a series this badly so far in the last month or so. Um, it's playing brilliant Crazyhouse here. So E6 under attack. I'm just gonna let that one go. So pawn at g5 is a logical continuation here. But there could be something happening on the file as well. So can I play knight e4? I nearly want to leave this knight alone on principle. Whether I can afford to or not is a different question. So No, the rook takes f1 was just queen takes g2, legion. Queen takes g2, king takes g2, knight at f4, king g1. I don't think you have to sack rook at h1. You just say pawn at g2, threaten rook at h1, and it's too much because white doesn't have uh, an effective counter immediately. So here, if knight f2, he's got queen takes, knight at h6. Here, knight f5, and that's going to be mating. Maybe I can play knight at h6. That's an interesting defense. Or there's just straight up, bring the other knight to f6 or bishop f6. There's so many options. He's also got queen e6 coming in. I think I need to play this one. Oh, rook at h1 is mating at g2. It was only 18. Yeah, but you've got an engine on your side. Like I'm here without an engine, so I didn't see if rook at h1, king takes h1, pawn at g2, king g1. He takes the rook on f1, king takes f1. I thought he can check on the back rank, and I have a blocker. That's as far as I saw. So maybe there's something deeper or better than that. So here, if he retreats, then queen at g7 is a mate threat, but okay, it's queen at e6. I'm just going to play queen at f7, but maybe bishop takes is lethal. What if I... He's just threatening to win e7. Can I just play rook f7? No, he's got this rook then. So if I play queen at f7, bishop takes, queen takes, knight at h6 takes, knight e6 check, bishop takes, is still covered. I'm gonna play queen at f7. I mean, I feel like I'm seeing the game really well. I feel like when I'm gonna lose a game, I can see how he's gonna beat me before it happens. But I like here I have to see that even though it looks incredibly dangerous, I'm still defending g7 with this bishop here. And there's no smothered mate because this bishop covers that one, and I've now got a threat here. I've got activity on f2, so I'm... Whoa, queen at g7. Maybe I got queen at e5. So now I'm threatening queen takes a1 myself, but making sure pawn at g7 is adequately defended on this diagonal. I'm just loving these shot games. So now maybe something on d4 he's gonna do. Yeah, okay. Is there some mating threat for me? Pawn at c3. Surely that's gotta be mating. Yeah, that's takes, and then rook here. There's enough there. Legion says I suggested it live with rook at d1, bishop b5 being the killer after at g2 takes. The rook on d1 and knight on f4. Boxer king forever. Okay, alright, so Legion's saying he would have beaten me over the board as well. Is this not mating? Surely. I have knight at b2 and king here, bishop at c3, and I can play pawn at c6, or I can use the original one. So we'll use the pawn from initial position for elegance points. Yay! So I won a game there. I was pretty happy with how I defended that one. Good to restore some belief in self with a win. Yeah, nice Legion. He says, "Oh, I wasn't saying that." Or wait, I was. That's all right. You like crushed me like so badly in the first three games of our series yesterday, but that's okay. After the draw, then I got 5 wins back, so I can trash talk back a bit there if you want. But outstanding play from you, Legion, yesterday. I think you're going into your match against Blitz Bullet with some great match fitness. So I think it'll be a fantastic game in a few hours. Guys, make sure you check it out. 1 p.m. US Eastern Time. It's going to happen in 2.5 hours from this minute I'm speaking on Lead Chess. Check out Blitz Bullet versus Legion Destroyer. I'm going to repeat this line. I found it so interesting, even if it seems lost according to the engine. Um, Practically, I don't feel it's lost. It's all right. So pawn on f3, I've got to take with g takes f3. There's just in my body, I feel it's defensible if I've got enough time on the clock. Legions, I was happy to get the draw. Okay, then the first 3 wins. Okay. The queen of g6, I don't have to play rook g1. I just thought that was good enough to defend while keeping the attack on. Something like knight at g3 is viable. I just feel if queen at g6, I can't play pawn at g3 because then I lose the pawn in hand which I need for b7. But even that assessment could be wrong. Because maybe a queen on b7 is also good enough. Let's see. Okay, yeah, alright. I'm surprised he's thinking again because he won with queen at g6, but okay, maybe knight at g3, which is threatening this. Because if he takes, I think hg is like a really solid fortress for white. So let's go with this one. Completely different defense to rook g1, and I obviously can't claim to know if it's better or worse because I didn't look at this objectively with the engine earlier. No, I think -8 was maybe after rook g1. This is now unknown to both players, so I I just trust my instinct that up to. I feel like when black plays pawn at f3, that black does not have the right to attack there, and on principle, g takes f3. I feel at that position, I I should have, even if the position's worse for white, I feel I have practical defending chances, and I should be able to make something out of it. So a big difference here is even if black ever breaks through, like king h2 is stopping a lot of the ideas that would have gone into some kind of mating pattern previously. Okay, so here I probably just can play knight at f4. It's a bit lazy. Like I don't think there's a mate happening. You could play queen at a8, but I just feel this is low risk because I'm hitting the queen, and even if this file opens, yeah, so he's run away there. That's fine. Um, want to hit that queen one more time. I'm thinking of just pawn f6. I'm thinking just getting on with business. Okay, pawn at b2, but I should be able to take e7, so takes e7. I don't have another knight in hand, so maybe this does have to come to d1. Or I just keep attacking on like bishop at h5. Now, you know what? We'll try to draw out one more pawn on d2 first, and then we'll consider bishop at h5. Because now he's got no pawn at g6. But I could be losing too much anyway. Let's assess critically here. Because his queen's covering g6. So a bit loose maybe, allowing that. Alright, maybe I have to be more direct then. I just have to go for it. Pawn at g7 or queen? I think maybe pawn. He can go back queen h7. That's his only defense here, I believe. Rook g8, queen h8, h8 too strong. I think he has to play queen h7 to stop things. But then I'm safe at home. So now okay, he's got no rook in hand now, so he can play pawn at c2. Oh, he's going this way. Alright, he's getting some activity. That's a bit annoying. Not too bad though. We've shut down the back rank. I gotta go for f7 now, I think. Well, when he finally lets me take a breath on the back rank, I gotta go for f7. So let's turn the screws. He's looking for knight g3, knight f2. I'm just gonna ignore it for a second. Alright, we'll get the queen with check. Do I have a finish here, or am I... Just get the rook out of his hand first, then bishop takes f7 is more effective, because queen at g8 becomes an option. Okay, do I have mate here? Yes! That's a good one. So I liked at the end there that got him to play rook at f1, so then queen at... If after bishop f7, rook takes f7, queen at g8 is critical. Okay, got a couple wins on the run there. So you got to like win the game how many times against opperwezen when he's in such good form. He might have had knight takes e7 and covered g8 there. Yeah, maybe. But we're in a time scramble, so yeah, a win is a win. I'll take it. Okay, this is coming around a g3 thing. I was okay with what I got from. Okay, that's different. I was looking for some kind of knight f4 thing. We're pretty much getting the same position, aren't we? Let's. Can I play e5 here though, or is he just going to play knight e6 anyway? I'm gonna pick up two knights for a queen. e5, knight e6, takes. Um, okay, let's see where this goes. Like, knight takes g6 is sensible, but no, I think he won't play it. So, takes. Can I be cheeky and take this one first? So if knight takes, rook takes, pawn takes, okay, I got two pieces for a queen and a pawn, but white's still just fine. I can try to be greedy and not lose this pawn on f4. That's what I'm looking at. Probably d takes. So we're looking at knight takes queen, takes, rook takes, pawn at g5, making threats here, but knight e4, bishop takes g7. Okay, he's not taking the queen, so we have something interesting here. Maybe he's just going to take this and ask me to take this and play pawn at g5. This knight has nowhere to go, so that's why I thought he would take the queen. Alright, let's see what happens here. Maybe neither side understands this position at the moment. So I always forget, can you castle if there's a knight on e6? No, you can't castle through check. Yeah. So castling wasn't an option while the knight was on e6. Oh, what? Okay, so if takes, he's gonna do pawn at g7. Takes, queen takes h5. If takes, he's still gonna take h5, he gets pawn g7. Okay, so that's to be taken seriously. So what if I just avoid the whole thing and play rook g8? Because then, yeah. If knight takes, because then bishop takes, just neutralizing this bishop. Okay, so he got two pawns for the piece, and my king's a little bit scrambled, but I got activity on the g-file, so I'm not complaining too much. So I need to be active here, and time is ticking. I think c6 makes sense just to relieve this knight of any burden. Pawn at e6, knight c5. We just don't let the white knight come in on e6. He can take f6 here and do two pieces for the queen. So let's play the said move. I'm certainly in no position to launch an attack, so I shall be defending. On a good day, maybe there's something on f2, but I don't see what this does. Okay. I want my knight because it's aggressive. Alright, I'm gonna stop talking a bit, try to play some good quality here rather than lose my time on the clock with all the commentary. Okay. Oh gosh, my clock ran out. And I wasn't even talking. I just didn't notice. That's a shame. There was still plenty of play in that game, but I lost a piece or so somewhere in the critical moments where I shouldn't have. Okay, we're back to the French. Back to a bit of commentary. I was looking forward to sealing the gap a little bit closer. Okay, what if I just play a3 and never allow knight b4, and then I get bishop d3, and that's a different idea. Okay, play bishop d3. Okay, can play knight e2 now. Ooh, alright, he's on for g5, g4. Okay, that one I'm gonna take. Because if I play bishop g3, I think black's just better with g4 and winning this pawn. So I'm gonna have to give the piece for two pawns, which is a fair trade. And he's gonna allow knight at f6 check by doing this, but I guess he's okay with it. I wouldn't be okay with it. Because queen takes knight at f6 here, I take this bishop and it neatly defends e5 from queen takes e5 check. And if he plays king takes d7, I bishop b5 check, winning the queen on d4. So after this, it looks a bit ugly for black. But maybe he has seen deeper than I have. Material count, white is just up one pawn for a split second. But look, this queen is open to getting hit. I don't have an immediate weakness. You know, bishop at e3 to knock the queen away and prevent any checks on e5. Knight takes f8 and dark squares are under threat here. So Certainly can't call a result here, but even like a bishop at c5 is looking quite annoying here. I'm not sure he saw this tactic. That's my feel. But okay, he will play with aggression here. Now, can I just play bishop at c5 anyway, I wonder? If takes king e2, knight at g1. I mean, I can play fg, I can play bishop at e3 here. That's a question. Bishop at c5, bishop at e3. It's probably worthwhile having the option to take even this knight at f2, bishop at c5, knight d1 takes. Alright, we'll take here then. I think the black pawn on f2 is too valuable for black, and also the black and the additional pawn he would have in hand. So I could never take with h because the rook takes h1, but I can take this way. Because all I see black having is knight at f2, and then you've got bishop at c5 or bishop at e3. Not threatened by the capture of this queen, because I get a bishop that's defending, or two bishops defending all the dark squares around the king. Could have bishop at c5, knight takes d3 here. No, alright, well, bishop at c5 takes, bishop at f2 is a move. But what if we be sneaky, like bishop at c5 takes, then take here? Or maybe just bishop at g1. Yeah, I like bishop at g1. Because just for this moment he has no pawn in hand for f2. I'm not concerned if he takes here and then bishop at f2, king d2 is okay. The idea is I just want him to stop the initiative here, because this queen can only really go to a4 and still hold on to the knight, because queen is attacking it. But if queen to a4, then knight c5. Whoa, okay, didn't see that move, but that's opperwezen, isn't it? So takes. Yeah, I guess I gotta take that one. And I'm gonna go to d2. Because I've still got good coverage around the king. But okay, he's got that knight now. So he's got knight at c4, knight at e4. That was incredibly resourceful. Rook takes h2, like... So maybe I have to take a moment to... Like, I don't even see what move I'm playing now. So am I threatened properly? Okay, we'll resort to defense. I would like a knight for c5 for f6. We'll keep it simple. Been looking for more complicated things, but my own king is at risk now as well, and there's not much time on the clock. Just want to stop that from being taken. Alright, let's not talk. Let's play. Looking for queen at d6. Where's my play? Oh, that should be lethal, shouldn't it? Yes, alright. Went quiet at the end there for the time scramble, and I was lucky I found something. Okay, switch to e4. Okay, we'll go for knight. Okay, that's knight e2 is a different move. Alright, I'm just happy to play an e5 system then. I don't want to take this because I want this strange knight e2 move to remain on the board. But sometimes what happens is I get tricked by opperwezen into doing something worse, so I've just got to look out for everything. When's the last time I played Yasser? I played Yasser like last week on live stream. There was a 2.5 hour stream I did with Yasser. I hadn't done a stream in a while, so that was a really nice way to get back into it. You can check that out on YouTube on my channel. It's Yasser vs JannLee. Hopefully that comes up. Okay, so if knight takes e4, he's got like a queen d5 move. And I really have no way of salvaging. Let's not even think about it too long. We'll just go to g4. Yeah, no, the video on demand, even if it's not up on Twitch, it's on YouTube. So you can see it on YouTube if you missed it. Play c5. Now, generally not nice to open a hole on d6, but I want to be resourceful and keep the extra pawn. Okay, yeah, queen d6 was thought that might happen. Can put a pawn back on c7. I'll put a pawn on e7. So where's he running back to? I think I'm gonna go to e7 because this is good to defend with this in future. I'm actually considering maybe the queen may come out here and c4 might become something. Just keeping the queen here to be annoying, but let's play queen b6. Preparing c4. Also preparing e6 and not allowing queen d6. So I want to kick this queen away from e5 before I potentially sack here, so that this knight isn't hanging on its own. So either got d2 or d1 or b3. d2 he chooses. Yeah, I'll take that. Now is there something here? Look at these dark squares. c4. Like just c4 and bishop c5. So he doesn't have to block, he can go back, but then is there something here? Pawn at d3 could also be quite annoying. Oh, Joanna tries. Gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Thanks for the support, Joanna. Hope you've been well. Okay, we're down to like under half a minute again, so we'll put the head down and go quiet. I'm just looking for knight at c2 here. We'll just straight up capture. Maybe he'll capture twice, but okay, so he's hitting e5. Do I take a moment to defend it? Oh, tough decision here. Alright, he's got bishop at a4, but I think I'm losing if I allow queen takes e5. I had bishop at a4. Oh, that was really strong. Never mind, we've got to keep moving. Alright, I get it second time around. Ooh, nasty. Uh-oh, why did I go there? That's not good. Whoa. He's got knight at f6, but it's not quite enough. I gotta try to keep a cool head here. Oh. Uh-oh, running out of initiative. Yeah, this is a problem. Yeah, well done. I don't know. I think the game was won and lost either side there, but that was a pretty long time scramble. Um, okay, I'm gonna have to call the last couple games here. We'll say last two games because it's past 1 a.m. and I've got work to do. But really good to be back on live stream. I need some more practice calling my own games while I'm playing them because I just feel I'm running out of time. Um, but I've had some really good matches with opperwezen in recent times. We've been not not actively playing this year in the Crazyhouse World Championship, but it's just nice to play the game again. Okay, it's queen at f5. I gotta take this. We played through this line first game. But I took a lot more time to get here last time. Okay, he's changed up to 96. Okay, that takes d4. He's got rook e5 coming. I think it should be okay to take this. Rook takes e5, king f1. I'm quite keen to keep my extra knight in hand, to possibly attack in future. Probably king f1 as well. So rook e5, and then he's got a real threat there. I just feel if I go to d1, bishop at g4 wins the knight, so king f1 is the move. But now if rook takes e5, like, the idea is that he's potentially threatening mate with rook e1, but if queen at d8, bishop at e8 takes, rook e1 takes, pawn at d2, king e2, rook at e1 again, takes. I think he's only got a bishop left. Like, he might run out of pieces if we really analyze that. Because he has to consume a bishop. He's only got a bishop and a pawn. Take this guy to threaten knight at f6. Ah, maybe he was concerned that knight at f6 would happen anyway. Right, so we should probably just take this, then knight at f6, and knight at h6 becomes a threat. So, I mean, if bishop at c4, we got king g1. Let's say bishop takes, knight at h6. You can't move here because of smothered mate. Queen at g8, rook takes g8, knight f7. Yeah, so he worked out that knight at h6 was too dangerous. Can I play knight at e7? Queen here, bishop here. Take the rook. And I'm not seeing a killer blow yet. How to make progress here? Okay, that's an idea. Now I'm going to try to make him consume a bishop on d7 and then go to b4 to look for knight at e7. But even if I get knight at e7, it's more so to stop rook e1 check than anything else, because he's got no mating attack on me at the moment. But I don't think there's a mate after king h8. So, but then, yeah, knight e7. So bishop takes d4, knight e7, king h8, queen takes d4, rook takes, and then queen at f8 is critical, because then g7 falls with two queens hitting it. But knight at e7 just to stop rook e1, because that looks dangerous. Okay, I have to keep an eye on e1 with the queen. He's looking for pawn at e2. Should probably just cover it with knight at e2. Okay, let's start attacking, because I'm safe at home, so I have to try to push in on the dark squares. Knight at f6 looks lethal. Queen g7, knight h5. Is it enough to mate, or do I have to back off? Gotta make a decision fast. Queen h7, don't think that's mate. Alright, you don't come back from these if you get them wrong. Alright, ran out of time. I don't know if I'm mating here. I was running out of my time myself. Okay, a3 for the last game. Okay, we'll go g6. Because usually a3 is useful with b4. Alright, against h4 I've got to cover h5. We'll just contest e4 here in the center. And now we play g6, so we better develop bishop g7. But a3 doesn't seem as useful here. I mean, a3, if a3 is played, it's often useful if it's able to stop the bishop going to b4. So I kind of put the bishop on g7 to say, well, it's not doing anything. So now knight b5 is possibly hitting this. So the right order is probably bringing my own bishop to f5. Could have also gone to g4, I suppose, but unclear if f3 was helping white or not with an e4 break. So we can play knight d7 or knight c6. Maybe knight d7. Oh, wow. Okay. Not sure I understand this, but opperwezen does. Rook takes. I think I'll take it and play pawn at g6 because I want to leave the bishop here to stop queen takes d5. And then there could be a rook on the back rank at some stage. And even if there isn't, I don't feel it completely undermines black's king side. So we'll take this one. There's also bishop takes c2, but I think we'll just have pawn at g6. Maybe I should take c2. I lose d5. Ah, but he gets pawn at e6, which could be annoying. So, okay, pawn at g6, queen d1, rook at h1, knight f3, and then knight at g3 is going to cover. It's nothing special. What about pawn h6 and knight at g7? Okay, I'm going to open myself up to some risk. If pawn at e6, I'll bring the bishop back. I can lose this knight. That's okay. I just feel when there's two holes, d2 and c2, there's more potential for danger to attack. Ah, but knight at e6 I missed. That's a shame, isn't it? So we'll... we gotta give away the queen here. Wow, he didn't even take my queen. Okay, so he's going for more. What have I asked for here? Okay, I think I've got to play this in bishop g6. I'm bleeding very badly here. But, you know, there's some checks. Knight at b3, because he played a3 on move 1. There's a weakness on b3. There's rook at c2 or knight at b3 to start something going. I just feel knight at b3 maybe keeps more material. So he's got to work out what to do with this queen, and I'm bleeding, but maybe not dead yet. Okay, what if I just ignore it with king g8? What's the point of this? I am one pawn less, and maybe it's back rank mates which become... I think king g6 is right, because then I have cover from these two. That's safer than pawn at g7, where I'm more exposed to things like rook at d8 or queen at d8 in future if this is lost. So I'll give you an example. If the king was still here, pawn at g7, and he takes here, and then I just take the queen, and rook at d8, so you block with a knight, takes, queen at c8, block again, knight c7 check, king f8, queen takes e8. And now the knights for free. So what? Queen takes f6 is the threat, but knight at b3 looks very promising. Rook at c2. I don't have enough time to calculate it all. Like white's at some risk here. Um, this is dangerous for white. So it takes f6, and then I'm either mated or I'm mating, one or the other, and there's no in between. What? So it's not that. Well, I've got to play rook at c2. I'll take this one then. I don't have to take the queen. I'm probably better off not allowing g takes f6. You can have pawn at f7 check, but there's no follow-up there. And now I get the queen with check, so this should be a win. Yeah, I'm surprised I won that one, but very sharp. Very well played, opperwezen. Final score, he won 9-7. That's still respectable. I'm okay with that. That's only, if I won one more game, that would have been 8-all. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I'm making a deliberate effort to try to come back. I want to acknowledge Zaraza. She interviewed me a little while back and has inspired me to pick up the streaming again. I've just been really busy with work, very time poor. But candidate stage is starting. We need some hype behind it. I'm hoping to cover some of these matches, hoping to cover them with more than one commentator. Look, I've been reaching out to the guys like Mugwort, Clearcast. The real Ghanaius was here in the chat as well. We look forward to coordinating with the other commentators, because we just see more together, and it's nice to have some chat as well. So yes, you guys have your different means of reaching out within the community. Look out for the matches. First match coming up in 1 hour and 40 minutes on Lichess between Blitz Bullet and Legion Destroyer. The candidate stage is open. I'm going to go get some sleep so I can show up for work tomorrow. That's just reality. But yeah, hope to see you guys again. Hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. An opperwezen, fantastic play. So well done. Okay, we'll see you next time. Bye.